So welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to this milestone event. To all our distinguished guests, invited dignitaries, welcome Abuja, welcome to Agora Policy, and welcome to this event. If you look around you today, you see fascinating mix of people. We have policy researchers, we have civil society leaders, as well as top government decision makers, journalists, and our graduating fellows. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. All right, so in Nigeria, I dare say that we do not lack conversation. I think one thing we know how to do well as Nigerians is we know how to have conversations. We have conversations about the country, about the economy. We have conversations about government, about policies. But one thing we're here to celebrate today is people and practical tools that turn those conversations into actual measurable results on the ground that people can feel, impact people can feel. So we have a packed, high-stakes agenda this morning as we celebrate the brilliant minds of the second cohort of the Policy Writing Fellowship of Agora Policy and unveil two highly anticipated digital portals aimed at deep institutional accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gabriel Spector. I am a broadcaster with 95.1 Nigeria Info. I am a master of corporate ceremonies, and it is indeed my delight to steer the event of this great event, rather. Before we dive into the business of the day, it is to our distinct honor to recognize and welcome some of our special guests. I mean, everyone is special, but we have some people that are very pivotal. Thank you very much. Some people are very pivotal to this event today. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if your hands are not too busy, we have with us the keynote speaker for today, the special advisor to the President on Policy Coordination. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Put your hands together for Hadiza Bala Usman, if your hands are not too busy. I understand she's very much on her way to the event, and she'll be joining us shortly. We also have within our midst the Africa Director of the MacArthur Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I dare say that you put your hands together for Dr. Kole Shettima. Good to have you with us today, sir. And of course, a warm welcome to all the graduating fellows. Please, if you're a graduating fellow, please put your hands together for yourselves. All right, so to every civil society leaders, members of the press, welcome to all of you. So I understand that the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau is also in our midst today. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Abdullahi Usman Bello. Thank you very much for being here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to get straight into the event to deliver the official welcome address. Please put your hands together for the founder and Executive Director of Agora Policy. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Waziri Adio. Please put your hands together for him. Keep clapping until he comes on stage.
The chairman of CCB, Dr. Abdullahi Usman Bello, Dr. Kole Shettima, the African Director of MacArthur Foundation, Ambassador Kafo, the National President of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, representatives of EFCC, NFIU, my brother Wilson Wujaran from EFCC, Director of Public Affairs. Sorry, I didn't have your name, but recognized. Chris? Okay, Mr. Chris from NFIU. Mr. Chris Okeke, another Chris from FCDO. Dr. Dauda Garuba from Center for Democracy and Development, the Director of Center for Democracy and Development. Dr. Umar Yakubu, the Director of the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity. Two other distinguished partners from the Punch Media Foundation. I have your names, but you are recognized. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, It's my distinct honor. Oh, by the way, I also need to recognize Dr. Mohammed Shuaibu from University of Abuja, who is also a member of our board. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this important event. On behalf of the board and the staff of Agora Policy, I want to welcome you again and thank you especially for finding the time on a day like this to be part of this event. I want to give special gratitude to Dr. Kole Shettima and the team at MacArthur Foundation for their continued faith and support to the work that we do. We have 3 partners on one of the things that we're unveiling today. That's the LGA Portal, the Local Governance Accountability Portal. We have the Punch Media Foundation. They supported us on this project, and 2 of them actually came all the way from Lagos to be part of this event. So thank you so much, for coming. We have the Cable online newspaper. We have Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, headed by Dr. Umar Yakubu. And we have ICE Technology, that they are our technical partner on this. So we thank all of them for their collaborations. We also want to thank the supervisors of the fellows for their hand-holding and for taking them through this very intensive process. Professor Ayede is in Ghana, but I think he's joining online. Professor Babajide Fowowe, I think he's also going to join us shortly. Dr. Linan Hoffman, she's somewhere in Luxembourg. And Dr. Mohammed Shuaibu. Please, can we appreciate them, please? And all the other special guests who are here today, thank you so much for coming. So we're here today to showcase 3 things. All of them are united by a common thread. And that is that about deepening the capacity for evidence-based policy making and participatory governance in Nigeria. The first of them is the Policy Writing Fellowship. We conceived this to ensure that there's an enhanced and distributed expertise among policy actors, both on the demand side and the supply side, for the designing, the interrogation, and the implementation of public policies that are evidence-driven and context-appropriate. This is the second cohort of the Policy Writing Fellowship. About 250 people applied for the first cohort. We're able to take only 20. But for this cohort, we selected 25. So we went, 5 extra fellows for this second cohort. But interestingly, more than 800 people applied from different parts of the world, including from North America, Europe, and Asia. Even when we stated in the call for application that this is restricted to only Nigeria, but it shows that there's a lot of interest in having this kind of specialized capacity. I'm also happy to say that some of our former fellows are also here, so you are well recognized. So we're able to take 25 out of more than 800. So that's barely like 3% of the people that applied. And out of these 25, 22 of them I'm happy to report, which amount to about 90% of the people that started the fellowship. 22 of them went through the entire process and they are graduating today because they met all the process, all the requirements of the process rather. So the fellowship is a rigorous 4-month process delivered through workshops, case studies, and supervision by the supervisors. And they culminated in individual policy papers by the fellows. So it's not just that they came for workshops, either virtual or physical, and they had all kinds of interactions, but they also had to produce original policy papers with the support of the guidance of their supervisors. And these policy papers range from topics, ranging from AI to air quality. On your behalf, I want to say congratulations to all the fellows. So please, if you are in the hall, for those who are here, can you please stand up and be recognized. The fellows that are graduating today. Thank you so much. You can sit down. It's no mean task to do this in 4 months. We started in February. And, you know, Miriam, let him comment. You know, we started this in February, and they were doing this in the midst of their daily job and in the midst of having to live their lives. So for them to be able to do all of this, you know, is something that is that is worthy of commendation. So we're also unveiling 2 portals today. The first one is a one-stop center to vital policy documents. The other is a gateway to governance in our local councils. There will be a presentation on the digital platforms, so I won't dwell on the details for now. But let me please leave you with this thought. If we're interested in good governance and development in this country, we cannot continue to ignore what is going on in our local councils. The first schedule of the Constitution spells out the functions of the local government areas in this country. And those functions are not trivial. They range for things that will have direct impact on citizens' welfare and livelihoods. And it's not just that the Constitution or the country decided to give them these responsibilities. The country made adequate financial provisions to make sure that they have the resources, the wherewithal, to be able to meet these obligations. For our 774 local government areas in this country, they receive 20.6% of statutory revenue that go into the federation account. They receive 35% of the value-added tax. And they also get 10% of the IGR of each state. This is apart from their own internally generated revenue. So this is not measly or trivial in any way. It's a lot of money. Especially in the last 3 years, enormous resources have been pouring into our local government areas. From FAC alone, the least allocation that a local government will get on a monthly basis now is around 500 million. Each local government will get at least 500 million every month. Our Limosho local government area received 4.9 billion for January 2026 alone. One local government, 4.6 billion. Right. The question is, so what happens to the money? Whether they are getting the money as they should get the money based on the decision of the Supreme Court or not. The fact of the matter is that a lot of resources are going into these entities. And also, it's very important to bear in mind that our local government areas are about one of the best resourced in the world. When we did a study of money that goes to local councils across the world, based on the percentage of the total revenue of the country, the money allocated to local government areas in Nigeria was second, only after Switzerland. So this is not a joke by any means. But the question you want to ask is that what happens to the money, right? And you know, basically, what happens at our local level is almost like a black hole. It is invisible. And as a result of this, the level of government that is supposed to be the closest to the people, the place where people are supposed to have to feel the impact of the government the most, is where government is absent the most. We can say, okay, state government, the local government chairman, you know, and all of that, they are the ones to blame. But it's not as simple as that. We are not blameless either. I pretend to be an economist once in a while. I'm not. The credit goes to people like Dr. Umar and Dr. Shuaibu. But one of the things I've picked up in life is that what is not actively demanded will not be sustainably or consistently supplied. For everything, there's a demand side, there's a supply side. If we leave it to them to depend only on their good conscience to do the right things, it will not happen. So we also have to do our own part. So what we have done with this portal, and a presentation will be made on it shortly, is our own humble contribution to changing the direction of travel in local governance in Nigeria. Like I said, if we want to have growth and development and prosperity in this country, we have to start from the local level. It's not something that we just say, okay, federal government, state government alone. The things that impact mostly on people's lives are actually basic local things. In Lagos and sometimes, I think now also in Abuja, people are talking about trash. Right? You go around, you see refuse all over the place. Refuse collection is a local matter. But people know who the president is. They know who the state governor is. But I can bet you that most people, including maybe myself, do not know who our local government chairperson is. And if you do, you don't know who your councillor is. This place where we are sitting today, there's a councillor representing this. Wherever you live, whether you live in Maitama or Yanya, there's a councillor that's supposed to be, and I'm sure you don't know, but you know the president, you know the minister of FCT. So one of the things we've tried to do with this portal is to get people to be more interested by designing a platform that will give them the tools that will empower citizens, civic groups, the media, and others with the tools to actively hold those in charge of local government to account. Because we always say, hold them to account, hold them to account. On the basis of what? If you don't have information about the money going to them, if you don't know the people to hold to account, if you don't even know what their responsibilities are, so how will you hold them to account? So we have done this portal. I don't want to talk about it because somebody will talk about it more in details. Where you can find information about the allocation from the federation account to all the local government areas in this country from May 1999 to February 2026. And you can find details about all those local governments, you know, where they are when they were created, what their headquarters are, which senatorial district, who the officials are, you know, what they are known for, you know, and all of that. You have details of the chair and all of those other people, right? So when shortly before now, somebody contacted me and said, you know, what is going on at the local level in our country is not bloodless crime. You people need to do something about it. And I said, by the way, we're doing something about it. We'll soon unveil a portal where you can get all this information. And so I said, okay, let me know. I sent him Alero local government area in Kebbi State. I said, look at the total amount that Alero local government area had collected from 1999 to date. And he said, okay, do you have the one for my local government area? I said, where is that? He mentioned it somewhere in Ekiti State. I said, okay, no problem. I'll send it to you. I sent it to him. I sent it to Total and he said, can you give me month-on-month breakdown? I said, no problem. We'll do it for you. And we'll send it to him. And within 5 minutes, he came back and he chatted. He had a line chart that shows from 1999 to 2026. Then he had the bar chart. He did it on his own. You know, on every year, what the local government collected. And to make it interesting, in his own local government, they have a WhatsApp group where all the elites in the local government area and the local government officials are. So he put it there and he said, everybody started asking questions. So the point I'm trying to make is that this, and after that, we belong to a platform together where I also announced that I gave him this data, this is how he has used it and all of that. And people started asking me. I said, okay, no problem. We can do it for you. You want your local government, we'll give you the data. You want for your state, we'll give you all the local government in your state. And people started asking and all of that. So it reaffirms that this kind of thing is not an exercise in vanity. It's something that can be useful. But this is where I want to conclude. Data is very important. Absolutely. We live in the data age. We live in the data world. And whoever has the data controls the narrative. But without agency, data is nothing. It's just a set of numbers. And we as individuals, as groups, as entities, we are not without agency. We are not helpless or helpless. If you want better governance at the local level, and I think we should all be, because that is where it should start from, the theory of local governance, of decentralization, is that the closer the government is to the people, the more responsive and the more effective it should be. In Nigeria, that breaks down. So if we want better governance at the local level, we have to demand it. And to demand it effectively, we have to do it with evidence. Okay, on this note, I want to urge you, everybody, please take interest in this kind of stuff. And let's see how we can take it further and make it useful. I want to welcome you all over again, and I want to thank everyone for finding the time to be part of this event. We do not take your time or your presence for granted. Thank you so much. God bless.
Once again, a round of applause for Mr. Waziri Adio, Executive Director, Founder of Agora Policy. Ladies and gentlemen, standing on existing protocols, I understand that quite a number of persons, distinguished guests, just walked into our midst. Welcome once again to the Special Advisor to the President on Policy Coordination, Hajia, Hadiza, Bala, Usman. Good to have you now. Miss, please a round of applause for her. Thank you very much. I also understand that Dr. Dauda Garuba, the Executive Director, Center for Democracy and Development, is also in our midst. Thank you so much. Please a round of applause for him. Thank you so much. All right. Would get, as the event continues, would do well to recognize all distinguished guests that make it into the event today. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if your hands are not too busy, I want to invite the man who is to give the keynote speech for this event, the opening remarks, I beg your pardon, for this event today. The person in question is a distinguished academic and veteran of the international development space. Before joining MacArthur, he taught at the University of Maiduguri and the University of Toronto. He has spent decades driving billions of naira in philanthropic investments across Africa, specifically targeting anti-corruption, accountability, and the empowerment of civil society. He holds a PhD in political science from the University of Toronto, a towering figure in the development sector, known for building systemic infrastructure that gives citizens the data and tools to hold government accountable. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Africa Director of MacArthur Foundation, Dr. Kole Shettima. Welcome, sir.
Apologies, I've been drinking coffee because I'm sleepy, actually. I think that the MC established a protocol, but therefore let me also rest on the existing protocol so that I don't create unnecessary problems. But I think at that point, he did not recognize our honorable House of Rep member at that time, so you're also recognized, and thank you for coming to this our event. Congratulations to Agora Policy. I recall that, I don't know, was it 3 years or 4 years ago, when Waziri called me and said that he wanted to come and talk to me. I think it must be like 5:30 or 6 p.m. that day. I said, okay, why don't you come over? And he said that, look, he wanted to establish a policy think tank in Nigeria. I said, but who makes policy in Nigeria? And I'm now going to be careful what I say, because the special advisor to the president is here. I told him, well, I thought contractors and consultants are the people who make policy in this country. Because every governor, when you come in, I think that the first set of people who will come to you are the contractors, consultants. They come and tell you all the things that you have to do and other things. So why do we need a policy center in Nigeria to do this kind of work? And of course, I was also very skeptical, because I said, but frankly, I don't know how policy is made in this country. And therefore, I'm not quite sure that there is anything really that we can think about in other things. And of course, the president of the alumni of NIPS is here also. So a lot of apologies for so many of you people who are really involved in the policy making arena. But I was also skeptical because I felt that, really, we don't know how policy is made in our country. We just see policies being made. And therefore, I was very, very skeptical. But I was also very mindful of the fact that why is it that nobody comes to Nigerian and speak about their own policy, about the country, but they will go to Chatham House during election time. They will go to Washington, to Center for Brookings. They will go to Council on Foreign Relations, and they will announce all the things that they are going to do for our country are announced outside of the country. But we don't have a platform where our political leaders, our policy people can come and talk about what it is that they want to do for our country. So it was a big risk, but then that's what foundations are meant for. Foundations are supposed to take risk. We are not in the business of doing well-tested ideas, but part of our responsibility is also to take a risk, do a bet. Some of it will succeed, some of them will fail, but that is how life is. The same thing with Umar. I think that, trying to convince me why we should support his organization, I was scratching my head. I was saying, well, Umar, we'll try, but who knows whether we're going to succeed or not. So, but I think that 3 years down the road, I'm very happy and very excited to say that I think Agora Policy has really lived up to its expectations. It's one place where policies are being discussed, policy issues are being examined, where people are brought together to come and talk about policies. But one of the things that really encouraged me about that was the book that he wrote. And I saw the importance of why we need to support people in government, people who have ideas. Because, in government, as I said, a lot of the time, really, people in government are under a lot of pressure from consultants, contractors, people who are just trying to harass them for one money or the other money and other things. But they hardly have the opportunity to really share ideas with people. People who will come to them, not because they want to get a contract from them, but people who want to come to them to have a conversation with them about an issue. That is not a very, that's not a space that they usually have. So when I read his book, and I saw some of the things that he was doing and saying, I thought, well, maybe, maybe there's something that is there. And that actually also further convinced me why I think Agora Policy is a very critical and very important. And I'm very happy, very excited that we have a think tank in Nigeria, like this center here also, which really is bringing to the fore a number of important policy issues for us to have a conversation in this country. So congratulations to the board and trustees of Agora, Waziri, for all the good work you have been doing to ensure that we have a space where we can have a conversation. So this fellowship that we are now coming here to celebrate, the people who have graduated, as you have already said, thousands, hundreds of people applied. Only about 3%, you said the last time, that really got this, were admitted. In some ways, you are in my own shoes. At the MacArthur Foundation, our own rate of grant is like 1%. So you are 3%, probably you are a little bit better than our own situation. And I know that saying no to people is one of the most difficult things. Saying no to people all the time. Saying no to people is one of the most difficult things. But I think that is one of the most toxic things also. Because even as a human being, psychologically, you really want to be saying yes. and to be optimistic to people, and not to be saying no to people, because the toxicity of being negative and negativity itself have significant health implications for all of us who are in this kind of work that we are trying to do and other things as well. So I'm very happy, very excited to be here, to see all of you who are here, to celebrate all the graduates who are coming here, because, you know, we make the mistake that because I have a degree in political science, I know how to write policy. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't that way. You know, that's why, you know, I tell our people that, look, some of the people that I respect most are the former clerks in our ministries and other people. You know, those clerks that you see them, you know, they pay attention to filing. They know how to do filing. Filing is not just like something that you can just throw away and other things. No, they know how to do the filing. They know how to do the numbering. They know how to put all the papers together. And I respect them because this is a simple task, but it's a very important task. And they have learned this through a very long process of repetitive process. Unfortunately, now, you know, many of us, you know, we employ people and do sort of things, and a lot of the time, and we assume that people, just because they have gone through a university, therefore they know what they are doing, and therefore they are going to deliver on what we want. But unfortunately, it doesn't that way. People have to learn, have to go through the process of the rigor of how do you write in a way that is acceptable to the people as well. And I know that many of you in public service, in civil service, and all of you know, I'm sure, your own challenges about how people, you employ them, they come to you and give them responsibility, and unfortunately, a lot of them may not be able to deliver, just because I think that we just give responsibility to people with an assumption that because they have a degree in whatever degree they have, and therefore they are going to be able to do the work that you are supposed to do and other things. So this writing policy, I think, is critical, very important, and very happy that people are taking it seriously, and I'm very happy that people are applying. And I hope that, you know, we will continue and see how do we make this as a very important contribution that Agora Policy is going to make and other things. And of course, the work that is going to be unveiled around the local government council, the resources that are going into those councils are significant and important. I have my own experience. I think it was my grandmother called me one day and said, is Buhari no longer the president of Nigeria? I said, what the problem was? She said, oh, there's no water in the village. I said, but Machina, 7 kilometers to Niger Republic, you are asking the president of Nigeria, who is like 700 kilometers away from you. I think there is a long distance. I mean, we should have our local government councillor, we should have our local government chair, we should have our governor, we have our House of Assembly members, but all of those were not relevant in her life. All she was thinking was whether Buhari was still the president of Nigeria or not, because she thought that the President Buhari was the only one who could solve her own problem and other things. But that is just an illustration of the mentality of how our people think. And it's also an indictment on our own system, that even people from our villages are always thinking about the national quota as where their own problems are going to be solved and other things. So I think that what Waziri is going to unveil to us in the data around local government council is what I will call, we are transparently corrupt. There's a data that shows everything that is wrong about us. But the resources are there. It is an illustration of how we are transparently corrupt. Because all the resources that are going to our local councils and others are not going for the purpose for which they are meant for. And I think that's the tragedy that we are having. So when we're discussing Boko Haram, when we're discussing bandits and all those kind of things and other things, and we never think about making any link about how is it that, you know, all the resources that we have are not going to provide even some of the structural challenges that are feeding into all those violence and the banditry and the kidnapping and all the things that are happening in our societies. And we assume that, oh yeah, we are going to solve this problem by deploying 10,000 soldiers into a local government council or whatever, and they're going to solve our problem. They will not solve our problem. I think it was the former chief of staff or somebody was telling that, look, you know, 10%, the military will deal with 10% of the problem, but the 80% of the problem will have to be solved by our local government councils, our governors, our House of Assembly members, and others who have the resources to respond to the structural challenges that are feeding the problem that we are dealing with. The military is not trained. In fact, a lot of times I talk to them, they say, look, we are trained to shoot from the head. No, from the chest to the head. We are trained to kill. That is our training. So when we deploy them to wherever we're deploying, frankly, all they know by training is how to kill. So they are not there to solve our problems. And our own problems have to be solved by our local councils, by our own state governments, and of course the federal government will also have its own contribution. But fundamentally, all the challenges that we are seeing is reflected in that database that we are going to see, the database that shows the resources that are going to our own communities, our places, but are not used for that purpose. And it is this greed that is feeding the problems that all of us are dealing with. And unless we deal with those greed that we are dealing with, unfortunately, all these things that we are trying to do around violence, around banditry, about kidnapping and other things, frankly, we are just looking at the surface. So on this cheerful note, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I'm sure that we are going to have a wonderful and interesting conversation as well. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, please put your hands together once again for Dr. Kole Shettima. He is the Africa Director of MacArthur Foundation. And thank you so much, sir, for correcting my oversight. Madam, the charm was too much. That's why. Please pardon me. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if your hands are not too busy. Also, who just walked into our midst is the former House of Reps member for Bende Federal Constituency, Abia State, Nigeria, Honorable Nina Elindu Ukeje. Please put your hands together. Welcome, ma'am. Good to have you in our midst. Also, we have the chairman editorial board this day and former presidential spokesperson to President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Please put your hands together for Mr. Segun Adeniyi. Please welcome, sir. Good to have you in our midst. Also, we recognize the presence of the National Civil Society Advisor, Open Government Partnership Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Uchenna Arisuku. Please put your hands together for him. Welcome, sir. Good to have you in our midst. All right, so if you check the agenda with you, we are going straight to goodwill messages from certain individuals. And the first person to take us on this journey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about a seasoned professional with over 25 years of extensive experience across banking, financial services, law enforcement, consulting, and academia. Is appointed by the president to lead the Code of Conduct Bureau. Is currently driving major institutional reforms aimed at strengthening public integrity. Notably, is leading the transition to completely digitalize asset declaration processes to enhance transparency and efficiency for millions of public servants. Please, if your hands are not too busy, I believe they are not, could you please give a round of applause to the Chairman, Code of Conduct Bureau? I'm talking about Dr. Abdullahi Usman Bello. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome.
Distinguished Chairman of the occasion, honorable guests, esteemed fellows, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor that I join you this morning to deliver this goodwill message on the occasion of the graduation of the second cohort of the Policy Writing Fellowship and the official unveiling of the local governance accountability portal. First, allow me to extend my congratulations to the more than 20 fellows who have successfully completed this intensive 4-month training program. Your dedication, intellectual rigor, and policy papers that you have produced under this guidance is very commendable. You represent the kind of thoughtful, evidence-driven leadership Nigeria needs as we work to build a stronger institutions and to improve the lives of our citizens. I also commend Agora Policy with the generous support of the MacArthur Foundation for this visionary initiative. Your commitment to strengthening policy making and policy engagement is both timely and impactful. The LGA Portal, which provides free access to financial allocations to local councils from 1999 to date, together with council profiles and names of officials, is a powerful instrument for promoting transparency and accountability at the grassroots level. As part of our enforcement efforts at the CCB, the Code of Conduct presently is investigating at least 5 local government chairmen, and we have reached an advanced stage of that. And we have seen a lot of breaches of Code of Conduct from those 5 officials, including conflict of interest and other violation of Code of Conduct. At the Code of Conduct Bureau, we firmly believe that sustainable national development and the fight against corruption must begin with strong accountability at the local levels. This portal will empower citizens, researchers, journalists, and civic actors to monitor public resources, demand better service delivery, directly supporting our efforts at strengthening integrity and ethical conduct in public service. Also, as part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen integrity and accountability in Nigeria, the Code of Conduct Bureau is currently verifying the asset declarations of high-profile public servants. So far, this exercise has covered 19 ministers, 37 permanent secretaries, 20 head of agencies, and 32 other high-ranking officials. They come to our office, we verify their assets. I'm also pleased to announce that our online asset and liability declaration system is now 100% developed and ready for deployment and testing in the coming month. Just yesterday, we signed an MOU with Nisani. As part of our enforcement drive, the Bureau has also secured the forfeiture of several assets, including properties in London and also some in Abuja. We have also referred numerous cases to Code of Conduct Tribunal, and only just yesterday, we arraigned the Chief of Staff to a governor at the tribunal. This demonstrates our firm resolve to hold public officers accountable regardless of their position and status. To the graduating fellows, I encourage you to carry forward the spirit of inquiry, integrity, and public service in all your future endeavors. The knowledge, skills, and networks you have gained here should be deployed to address our problems as a country, and also to strengthen governance at the local levels. To the organizers, I express my profound appreciation for the kind invitation and for the excellent work that you are continuing to do in advancing Nigeria's policy landscape. The Code of Conduct Bureau remains open to productive partnership, especially as regards publishing these names, to enhance good governance, transparency, and accountability. Once again, congratulations to the fellows. I wish you every success as you step forward to contribute meaningfully to our nation's development. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you very much.
Once again, a round of applause for him. All right, I understand that the head of local government initiative at the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission also just walked into our midst. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Sagir M. Yunusa. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome. All right, to take us on with further goodwill messages, and I trust that the rest of the persons giving us goodwill messages would keep it at 2 minutes. Thank you very much, so that we can keep to the timing. I have coming up on stage next. All right, I understand now it is 1 minute, so I would appreciate that we keep it very precise. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if your hands are not too busy, who I'm calling up on stage next is a veteran communicator and institutional strategist. He serves as the Director of Public Affairs and Commander of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Please put your hands together for Mr. Wilson Iwujaren. A round of applause for him, please. Welcome, sir. Good to have you on the stage.
Please permit me to rest on the already established protocol. I bring us greetings from the chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoyede. He ordinarily would have loved to be with us this morning, but for some other engagement, he has asked me to stand in for him. Well, I have just 1 minute, so I won't be able to go through the entire goodwill message that he has already prepared. But I want to just look at the statement that he made concerning accountability at the local government level. He said, as the chairman of an agency dedicated to promoting transparency and public accountability, I am impressed by the investment of Agora Policy in strengthening accountability and transparency at the third tier of government, the local government, with the launch of the local government accountability portal. The initiative for me is a game changer as it promises to lift the veil of opacity that forecloses scrutiny of public expenditure as the tier of government. For decades, releases to local governments and the management of such releases have been shrouded in secrecy. And where records are inaccessible and where citizens cannot interrogate what was released against what was spent, and where elected and appointed officials operate with the discipline of public scrutiny and accountability takes flight. What we are going to witness today for us at the EFCC complements the work that we do because it's open local government sector to scrutiny by all citizens of this country. And I believe that all of us as Nigerians want to see more of accountability as a tier of government, because if there's accountability at this level, the resources that are being pumped into that sector will yield dividends for all of us as citizens of Nigeria. So once again, I want to congratulate Waziri Adio and his team for embracing this initiative, and we believe that it will complement the work that we are doing at the EFCC. On this note, I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was very confident. We're talking about the EFCC here, so I knew that I could trust that we'll keep to time. All right, following in that same order, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on stage with me, the Special Advisor, Risk and Strategy Coordination, representing the CEO of the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, Mr. Christopher Ogbaji. Please, a round of applause for him.
All right, thank you very much. I'd just like to correct a special assistant to the CEO. Yeah. So good morning, dear guests. It's a pleasure to be here to deliver this good message on behalf of the CEO of the NFIU. She had hoped to be here in person, but unfortunately had a pre-scheduled engagement. So we'd like to commend Agora Policy for its commitment to evidence-driven and inclusive policy making. From your report on options for revamping Nigeria's economy to analysis on fiscal sustainability, climate and gender inclusion, your work consistently provides government actors with rigorous, actionable alternatives. And today's event is further testament to your role in bridging data analysis and practical statecraft. And also, would like to also owe gratitude to MacArthur Foundation, a steadfast partner in institutional transformation in Nigeria. Your support for initiatives targeting corruption, criminal justice, and civic accountability reflects a clear understanding, and that is to fix Nigeria's systemic challenges. We must build the intellectual and technical capacity of those who design and monitor our policies. So to emphasize, to the graduating cohort, Nigeria needs your intellect. We look forward to seeing the strategic policy contribution this cohort will make to Nigeria's AML safety frameworks. I challenge you to apply the analytical rigor you have honed here to help us design policies that close the financial loopholes exploited by terrorists, economic saboteurs, and corrupt actors. Your research must move from these halls into the corridors of state policy. And the LGA Portal could not be more timely. It aligns with the federal government's drive to grant local government full autonomy to deliver the true dividends of democracy directly to the grassroots. For the NFIU, it will be invaluable, enabling the profiling of individuals and local government officials, providing structured access to financial allocations to local councils from 1999 to date, and supporting the analysis of typologies and trends between sudden surges in the subnational allocations and unusual financial transactions. It will also enhance intelligence sharing with competent authorities such as the Nigerian Police, the CCB, the EFCC, the ICPC, and financial sector regulators. In the same vein, the Policy Registry is a commendable initiative, a one-stop hub for vital policy documents long overdue in Nigeria. I would like to make a formal recommendation to the leadership of Agora Policy. And that is the policy registry should feature a category dedicated to AML CFT so that we can effectively mainstream these requirements across all sectors of the Nigerian economy, so that any researcher studying financial inclusion, infrastructure, or the digital economy can immediately see the corresponding compliance requirements. This will significantly strengthen Nigerians' overall mitigation architecture. In closing, I congratulate the leadership of Agora Policy and the MacArthur Foundation for these timely interventions. And to our graduating fellows, you are leaving this program at a critical epoch in Nigeria's developmental journey. Thank you all. Congratulations once more to the graduates, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands together once again for Mr. Christopher Ogbaji. All right, coming up next to give us a goodwill message is the Governance Team Lead, Senior Governance Advisor, Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, Mr. Chris Okeke. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you very much. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to be here with you today. Let me start by congratulating, who is Waziri? Let me start by congratulating Waziri and the entire team at Agora Policy for what they've done. Seeing the number of fellows here today that have graduated, it gives me joy. It gives me joy because we are developing a generation of intellectuals, a generation of intellectuals at this age of AI. It's very easy at this point for people to, just type in policy issues and technology will generate it for you. But what counts at this point is really your judgment, particularly at this age where there is trust deficit in our polity today. So your intellectual rigor and assessment would help to bridge that gap and help our people to better understand government policies and how best to achieve outcomes. Let me also congratulate Agora Policy today for the portals that you would launch, which will clearly give us information and data on how to hold local government accountable. Many of us that have been working in this space, we've been looking forward to the implementation of the autonomy of local government, but that has not quite happened yet. We know that monies are transferred to local government, but to date, most people really question exactly what has been done or what's going on at the local level. And so with this data, it's fairly easy for us to interrogate exactly what's going on at local government level and the individuals responsible. And I'm pleased that some of the anti-corruption agencies are here and they have made commitments to follow through with some of the data that we have here today. So on behalf of FCDO, I would like to congratulate Agora Policy and Waziri for what you've achieved and for raising a generation of intellectuals in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Once again, a round of applause for Mr. Chris Okeke. Thank you so much. All right, coming up next to give us goodwill message is the National President, Alumni Association of the National Institute, AANI, Ambassador Emmanuel Obi Okafor, MNI. Please put your hands together for him.
Yeah, from the outset, although the protocol has been established, but I would like to commend the special advisor to the President on Policy Coordination. You have done so well. I would like also to thank the MacArthur Foundation. You have promoted policies and supported organizations that have done so well for policy making in this country. My sister, Honorable, it's a long time I saw you last. And then from the outset, I want to congratulate the fellows, and especially the founder of this Agora Policy. This is my second or third time of attending your function. Your programs and initiatives resonate very well with the Alumni Association of the National Institute, which I represent. As a strategic institute set up in 1979, we try to initiate policies that resonate very well with the people and government on issues of good governance, transparency, and the rest of them. Now, when you look at what you have done so far, this policy writing, or the Alumni Association, is that we embark on global best practices. We travel around the country, travel around the African countries and the rest of the world, and take the global best practice on any key initiative we are undertaking. But from the quality of what I have seen at the previous workshop of this Agora Policy Foundation, it is quite very commendable. I want to congratulate Adio and his management team for what they are doing. I also want to thank the partners. I have seen Dr. Umar of the Transparency Initiative. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I want to thank you so much. MacArthur Foundation, you've done so well since you came into this country. And Kashim has shown strong will to support all initiatives on government policies. Hadiza Bala Mohammed, sorry, Hadiza Bala Usman, we thank you so much. Your presence is quite very strategic for this particular organization. And I will listen carefully, but I want to assure Agora Policy that NIPS, the Alumni Association, would like to partner more with you on key issues, because what you are doing resonates quite deeply with the Alumni Association. I thank you all, the fellows who have been privileged to be given this. Don't rest on your hours, as are also all government agencies that are present to assess these portals, to use it for good governance. The problem with Nigeria is the gap between policy formulation and implementation. And I'm sure that you are going to fill in this adequately. I congratulate all of you. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Good word there. Ladies and gentlemen, also to give us goodwill message very quickly, because we need to move on. She is a prominent and respected legislative voice in the country. I'm talking about former member, House of Reps, Bende Federal Constituency, Abia State, Honorable Nena Elendu Ukeje. Please put your hands together for her.
A very good morning to you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure, and of course my sister Hadiza here. It gives me great pleasure to be called upon to speak this morning. I must congratulate Agora Portal for everything, Agora Policy for everything that they're doing. Of course, the MacArthur Foundation has been very supportive. And at this point, I totally agree that the local governance accountability portal is absolutely necessary, as well as, of course, the policy registration and policy writing. But let me say from a political point of view that at the very base of everything that they do here, the most important thing is recruitment of people who are going to run these things. And so when we speak about policy writing, and I've been in the National Assembly for so long, and we've made a lot of laws, but at the end of those laws would be the people who interpret the laws and who implement the laws. And so what you're doing is that you're creating a database of people who can actually become leaders. Because what happens is that most of the people who present themselves, or most of us who present ourselves for government or for government jobs, don't even understand what policy means. There's a complete disconnect between policy and governance, and it is because we don't write, read, or understand the policies. So I think what you're doing, the most important thing that stands out to me is that you're creating a resource base for Nigeria for the future, where everybody says the problem with Nigeria is the leadership selection. I always say it's leadership recruitment. And it is because there are so few people who can be recruited to do the work for government. And when we look for those people, we simply don't find them. And so what you're doing, more importantly than anything, is creating that base that hopefully understand policy, can relate it to governance, and will bring themselves forward to be utilized in the interest of the country. So having said that, I'd like to congratulate all the fellows. I'd like to congratulate the foundation. I'd like to congratulate Agora Policy. But more importantly, I'd like to say that even while we expect transparency at the local government areas, we must also encourage people, because there is no professional accountability as well there. So while the statistics and the data are fantastic, the implementation is even more important. And I think that, you know, professional accountability is absolutely key. And I'm very glad that you're building that resource. Congratulations again to the graduates. And I'm hoping that you will not only just chuck it away as yet another certificate, but you'll also bring yourselves forward. And I see a lot of women here, so I'm very excited that the gender, that from this pool, the gender representation in governance will probably be beefed up, not because of the arrangement of your chromosomes, but because you're absolutely ready for policy and governance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Honorable. She just had to put that in, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, I trust that we are almost done. We're almost, I promise you. To give us the last goodwill message is the Director or Executive Director, Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, West Africa. Please put your hands together for Dr. Garuba Dauda.
Yes, I joined others. Good morning, everybody. I joined others to stand on the already established protocol to say that it's an opportunity to congratulate Waziri Adio, who had the rare privilege of working under as technical advisor when he was the head of Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. And anytime I had to think Agora policy, something often comes to my mind, that is a think tank committed to finding practical solutions. And for those of us who have had the course of crossing the work of NATI, and also then had the opportunity of working directly with Adio, at every particular point in time, what is on his mind, it has to find solutions. Under him, Naiti transited from being a place that known annually for dropping reports of how we spend oil, gas, and minerals money, to engaging policies with the reports that have been generated by that organization. And for those who keep following the organization, we have a very good story that everybody can tell today after he left the organization. Sometimes people ask me questions. Do we still have NATI churning out those reports that we used to see of it as an organization? So he has taken that outside the organization, and through Agora Policy, is still able to engage national issues. And that's why even the testament that have been provided by those who are here gathered and have spoken so far, they are all pointed to the fact that he is a practical man trying to also provide practical solutions. For what we are here for today, as already underscored, there is a connection between the Policy Writing Fellowship, the portal we are unveiling, as well as the Policy Registry we are also unveiling today. And I think very strongly that as a country, We need this desperately. And as also for what we know about government and its institution, he has also been able to prove that even outside of government, those ideas that he tried to put in place in Haiti can also be done outside of government. As somebody who worked with the Center for Democracy and Development, that also, engages on issues of transparency and accountability, we are very good partners in this. And I've also seen quite a lot of institutions represented here that we are also partners of. One is the National Institute. The second one is the work we do with the Code of Conduct Bureau, as well as several others, anti-corruption agency in the country. So you've only contributed by way of being the main drivers of this, because we often identify the fact that there is an extent to which government can go most of the time. If not the government itself, the people who drive those decisions by virtue of censorship. But as an independent institute, Agora Policy stands at a very, very strong pedestal that will be able to push the kind of agenda that we want in government, because ultimately, impact is what we need in our work, and that is also the area, the space where CDD work, democracy for development. And the only way democracy can deliver development, you need to look into the policies that we make as organizations. Thank you so much, and I appreciate this opportunity. There will be more opportunity for us to work together.
Thank you so much, Dr. Garuba Dauda, Executive Director, Center for Democracy and Development. All right, we also understand that quite a number of persons, distinguished guests, just walked into our midst. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Deputy Editor at The Punch, Etanami Ayejina. Please put your hands together. Welcome. Good to have you now, Mr. We also have Mr. Samsudeen Adeshino, IT Officer at Punch Media Foundation. Please put your hands together too for him. Thank you so much. Welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going straight to the next agenda on the list today. We're going to be welcoming those individuals who have spent the last 4 months, 3% of the total number of applicants for this fellowship, and they've made it through. Actually, about, I understand 24 of them, and 22 of them are here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I'll call their names and what they're working on, and I encourage you to please put your hands together for them. It's not been easy. I'm sure they can testify to that. All right, we have this individual rewiring Nigeria's industrial policy for employment. Please put your hands together for Abdullahi Ibrahim. Congratulations. Also addressing the gaps in Nigeria's AI policy for learners' rights. Welcome, Karim Abdurrazak. All right, we also have Sarah Moses. Please put your hands together for her. She worked on the neutrality challenge, regulating NIPS as both a national infrastructure and market competitor. Also, Regina Alachi, aligning Nigeria's regulatory architecture. Please put your hands together for these individuals with her nuclear ambitions. We also have Esosa Iyagbaye, working on options for Nigeria's next strategy for non-communicable diseases. Also is Akimayowa, worked on towards a security smart food system in Nigeria. Also is Mairo Ibrahim, gender equity in Nigeria's resource allocation. Also is Kingsley Indimele from exclusion to empowerment, closing the gender finance gap in Nigeria's MSMEs. Also is Ofyong Moore, worked on connecting skills development to jobs and growth in Nigeria. Also is Stephen Klanzama, worked on centralization, incentives, and defections in Nigeria's political party system. I was hoping that the graduates would be giving themselves a round of applause. Now is a good time. All right. Also is Ayomide Ladipo, worked on Nigeria's maternal mortality crisis, closing the gap between policy and survival. Also is Kashema Hago worked on reversing Nigeria's manufacturing AFCF opens the gate. Also is Abdulkhalid Salihu. Worked on rethinking the financing of research and development in Nigeria. Not to also leave out another graduate, Zainab Nasiru, worked on strengthening sub-national air quality monitoring systems in Nigeria. Also is Claire Mom, worked on Nigeria needs a coordinated strategy for containing foreign information manipulation and interference. Also, Omolara Ejiade worked on scaling the Use the Toilet campaign for open defecation free Nigeria. Very important. Amira Abubakar also worked on strengthening emergency obstetric care governance in Nigeria's public hospitals. We also have Godwin Kwanji, leveraging entrepreneurship development to address youth unemployment in Nigeria. Also is Benita Ezumezu, worked on a roadmap for overcoming the paradox of high innovation and low survival for Nigerian startups. Also is Mokhtar Garuba, worked on reimagining commercial agriculture for inclusive growth in Nigeria. We also have Princess Emma Ibezim, worked on imperative of specialized courts for cyber crimes in Nigeria. We also have Dorcas and Naja, socioeconomic inequality and crime vulnerability in low-income communities. Very powerful research works these individuals have done. Please, if your hands are not too busy, kindly put your hands together for them once again. 4 months, 3% of total applicants, and they've made it all the way to this point. And we always say congratulations to each and every one of you. Well done, well done, well done. All right, once again, we move on to the next agenda, which is presentation of the Policy Registry and Local Government Accountability Portal. To help us do, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu Onyabo is of AICE Technologies. Welcome. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for him.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Standing on non-existing protocol, my name is Ifeanyi Chukwu Onyabo, like he said. I'm an engineer with IC Technologies, and my job here is very easy this morning. I want to take us through the 2 portals that was developed by Agora Policy. The first portal is the Policy Registry. The Policy Registry houses policy documents in Nigeria. The second one is the LGA Portal. The LGA Portal has basically 3 things on it. The fact data, we have the fact data on it. We have the profiles of all local governments in Nigeria, as well as information about officials, elected officials in LGA, elected officials in Nigeria. So I will go, we'll start with the Policy Registry Portal. The Policy Registry Portal is available on policyregistry.org. You can open it on your browser, policyregistry.org. Please note that the Policy Registry Portal comes with an AI tool. We incorporated an AI tool that allows you to analyze documents and get more information about all the documents that are available on the platform. You need to register to access certain features on the system. We have features that allow you to bookmark policy documents to policyregistry.org. Same word, policyregistry.org. All right, so like I was saying earlier, while this portal is open to everybody, for you to access certain kind of features, certain specialized features on the platform, you need to be signed in, because we want you to be able to track your downloads. We also want you to be able to see documents that you bookmark. Maybe you just bookmark a document that you want to come back to later. You will need to register to do all that. So if I want to sign in, there's a button to sign in and another one to register as a new user. The first part you are seeing is the search engine, where you can type anything, and if there's any document that is available on the system that matches to what you are typing here, to bring it up. We have a bit of information about the registry, and then we have this section for to search by sectors. But basically here, the sectors that are shown here are the ones that people are always searching for. So the trending topics are the ones you first find here. Just below it, you will see another section for featured resources. The team at Agora Policy is managing this section. And what they are doing is that they are giving you 6 documents to look at per time. Right? And then just here you see information on how to make the best out of the platform. If I go to policies now, you find all the documents that we currently have on the system. And let me stand up. You can read more. It gives you a summary of the document. This summary was generated by the AI tool, and you can also interact with this document like I was saying earlier. So what you can do here is that you can download a document, you can bookmark a document, or you can share this document to your socials, or you can interact with the document. So it means that I can ask questions about this document and the AI tool will provide those documents for me. I wanted to sign in. All right, so this gives me my own page. You will see your bookmarks here. Yes, the other screens are showing the same thing. So the first thing is that you are seeing documents that you bookmarked before now. You can see your downloads. You can manage your profile. You can see your share history. So whatever you've done on this platform, we are able to track it once you register on the platform. But if you just want to get documents and go out, you can download whatever you want to do and go out. You won't be able to interact with the AI tool. The other thing you can also do here is that you can either choose a different layout. We have this other layout too, for whichever one that you want, but you can filter your search with all these fields. So the policy registry platform is very straightforward. You are there to download documents, to bookmark documents, to analyze documents using the AI tool, and basically that's it. I will quickly take us through the second portal too. Is the LGA. The LGA portal houses information about FAC. It also has the elected officials, like I said earlier, and the profiles of local governments. So if you're looking at it, the first thing you are seeing, of course, is the navigation that you always find, right? But we have these bits of information about the portal. Beside here, you have an interactive map. Because of the amounts of data on this platform, we provided different means where you can get information easily. So the first thing you are seeing here is interactive map that you can always hover on and get information for that particular state. Clicking on, let's say, FCT, where we are now, it gives me this pop-up that has basic information about the land size, the LGA, the FAC allocation, and even the cumulative sum for the FAC. This portal is currently tracking FAC allocation from 1990 to February 2026. All that is on the platform. So if I want to check, let's say, Abaji, I'll visit Abaji's profile. Here you have short profile about Abaji LGA, and then a map that is showing you where Abaji LGA is within the FCT. You also have this FAC allocation. Abaji has gotten from 1999 to date, and then you have quick facts about the LGA. We're also displaying the the last 6 record of the FAC, just the last 6. So on our system, because I told you we are stopping at February, we are from September to 2026. But beside it also, there is a section here where you have the officials of that particular LGA. Please note that whatever you are seeing here is the same for all the other local governments, because each local government has a page like this where it gets all this basic information about that local government. They are all there. And this quick tool, you'll see it later, is a tool that allows you to also search for information within this local government. We have another one that allows you to search through the entire system. So I'll go back to the home page. Just below this, you have these 3 things that are showing you what you find on this portal. So is the allocation, is the profile, and is the officials. And we have this search engine here. The search engine allows you to find practically everything that is available on the system. So you can get the profiles. We'll come back to this, but you can get the profiles, you can get the allocation, and you can also get officials here. Then there's a find quickly module that is beside here that allows you to see latest allocations on the system, the highest allocations on the system, the lowest allocation on the system, most populated LGAs, and then the least populated LGAs. And below it, we have this snapshot of what we have tracked so far. So you have the amount that has been tracked on the system, months we have covered, the LGAs that are covered, and then the officials that are available on the system. Here, there are some charts that we are displaying 3 at a time on the homepage. This will keep being updated by the Agora team. And then just below it, there's a section for insights. It's a did you know section where information about LGAs, you can scroll to get them, but they will also scroll automatically after some time. And then just below here, we have the recent publications. Of course, at the bottom, we have the partners that made this project possible. I'll come back to the search engine that we have on the homepage. Here, I can search for practically anything. Let me be a bit biased. Let me search for Nkanu because that's my local government. So it brings up anything that in Nkanu on the platform. And from the east to the west there. You can streamline your search. If I choose fact data, fact allocation, for example, and I search for Nkanu, it brings the fact allocations that both Nkanu East or Nkanu West has. You can also streamline your search. Maybe I'm not sure of what I'm looking for. I want to just see everything within a state. I would drop Abia, for example. Fact allocations. So it gives me all the fact allocations that are on the system in Abia State. Like we said earlier, this allows you to do latest allocations. You have them, you have the highest allocation, the most populated LGAs, and so on and so forth. But this system can search for anything you're looking for on the platform. There is another tool that we implemented that allow you to analyze data on the system, to compare data between more than one local government. This is the analyze data tool. So this allows me to search for local government in a state. Choose Abia. Let me choose FCT. And then I can choose the LGAs that are within this. I'll take Abano and Kuje, for example. And I can check the years. I can select the years that I want to get information on. So it returns this for me. And just below it, it also gives you a chart. There is a chart for the allocation, the population, the land area, and the population density. But you are able to compare between two local governments. The system currently allows you to select more. You can select more than this, and you have it in this format. Or you can choose, maybe I'm trying to see what happened within two local governments in a year. It also gives you this table that also comes with the charts below. Please note that all these charts, you can save it on your system and use them at your will. This does not require to register anywhere. So once you're here, you can do what you want to do. Remember, what you can do here is that you can get your fact data, like we said. You can get your LGA official data and LGA profiles data. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, a round of applause for Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu Onyabo of AICE Technologies. I can say confidently that as a journalist and a broadcaster, this is a very powerful tool. I know what it means to look for data, look for information with which to sensitize, educate, inform the public. For in our profession, it can be a rigorous task sometimes, not because information is not there, but we just don't have a pool. And so this is very powerful. Please, once again, a round of applause for Agora Policy. All right, so we're going next to a physical presentation of these instruments or these portals. And to help us to achieve that, I'm going to be inviting the following persons to the stage, to the podium, to help us physically unveil these portals. Ladies and gentlemen, the first person I'm going to mention in no particular order, but I will start with the special advisor to the President on Policy Coordination. Please put your hands together for Hajia, Hadiza, Bala, Usman. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Also, please put your hands together for Dr. Shettima, as he also joins us on stage. Dr. Kole Shettima, that's the Africa Director of MacArthur Foundation. Thank you so much, sir. Also, Dr. Osuma too should join us on stage. Please put your hands together for Dr. Osuma. All right, so I'm just going to hand over the mic to you as you help us with the unveiling, ma'am. Okay, all right, all right. So we're going to, I think we'll just mention the word Agora, and after that, we'll just physically unveil the portals. At the spelling of the name Agora, then they would help us to reveal these portals. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have the first letter? And the next one is? And the next one is? And the next one? Ladies and gentlemen, the last letter. And together we say, thank you so much. A round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so please, let's have pictures. Please, we can have the rest of our distinguished guests join us on stage to take pictures with this milestone instruments. Please, I would like Ambassador, please join us on stage, sir. Okay, let's have it to the middle. We give them a round of applause. Please put your hands together for them. Thank you so much, Agora Policy. All right, next we're going to be awarding the graduates with their certificates, the fellows with their certificates, and to help us do this is a partner at Templars Law Firm, a member of Agora Policy Board. Please put your hands together for Miss Ijoma Uju, and she's very much here. Thank you so much, ma'am. So I'll be calling the names of the fellows, and once they come up, she would help us hand these certificates to them. Please, if your hands are not too busy, put your hands for Abdullahi Ibrahim. Please step forward. Please put your hands together for him. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Coming up next on stage is Akimayowa Shobo. He's not here? Okay. Amira Abubakar. Amira Abubakar. Not here? Okay. Ayomide Ladipo, please come up on stage. Not here, okay. Abdul Khalid Salihu. Okay, please put it together for him. Also coming up is Benita Ezumezu. Coming up next is Claire Mom. Dorcas and Naja. Is Claire Mom here? Okay, all right. Dorcas and Naja. Eseosa Iyagbaye. Congratulations. Godwin Kwanji. Is Godwin here? Online. All right. Congratulations to you, Godwin. Karim Abdurazak. Is he here? Is Karim here? Okay. All right. Kashema Bahago is not here also. Kingsley Indemele. Are you here? Okay. Myro Ibrahim. Okay. Welcome, Myro. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Mokhtar Garuba. Congratulations. Please, a round of applause for these fellows. It's not easy. 4 months. Welcome. Congratulations. All right. Also, Ofyong Moore. A round of applause for her again. Congratulations. Ofyong, is Ofyong here? Okay, all right. Also, we have Omolara Ejade. Is she here? Okay. And also Princess Emma Ibizim. Congratulations, congratulations. Well done. Princess, all right. Omolara, you first. Regina Alachi. Okay. Okay, so there's something going on. What am I missing, sir? All right. Okay, okay. Please, a round of applause for her. Congratulations. Also, Sarah Moses. Is Sarah in the building? All right, yes, she is. Congratulations. Please come over. Sarah Moses. And we have Stephen Klanzama. Okay. And the last name here, but not the least, is Zainab Nasir. Is she here? Is Zainab here? All right, she is. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Well done. Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for Miss Ijoma Uju once again. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go on to the next item on the agenda, and to bring the keynote speech to us, I'm talking about the person who heads the Central Results Delivery Coordination Unit in the presidency. Her mandate is to track, measure, and coordinate the performance metrics of all federal ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure they actually deliver on national priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Special Advisor to the President on Policy Coordination, Hajia Hadiza, Bala, Usman. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. The founder and executive director of Agora Policy, my very own brother, Waziri Adio, Dr. Kole Shettima, the Africa director of the MacArthur Foundation, my brothers here present, Chris Okeke, Shego Adeni, and my dear sister, Nena, that has run off. I would like to recognize the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Dr. Abdullahi Bello, representatives of NFIU, representatives of EFCC, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to join you today for the closeout ceremony of the second cohort of the Policy Writing Fellowship of the Agora Foundation and the unveiling of two important knowledge and accountability platforms that Agora Policy has brought forward. Agora Policy is a friend of my office, which is the Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination and the Central Result Delivery Coordination Unit of the Federal Government of Nigeria. Agora Policy's contribution to the policy landscape in Nigeria as a non-partisan think tank is committed to rigorous research, data-driven analysis, and constructive engagement, which helps to deepen public understanding and strengthens the quality of policy discourse. I would like to commend Agora Policy for sustaining this important fellowship and to congratulate the graduating fellows for successfully completing this rigorous program. Policy making is a critical skill set for nation building, sustainable development, and global competitiveness, and your work represents a valuable investment in the quality of public reasoning, public analysis, and democratic participation in our country. Policy writing is not merely a technical exercise, it is a public responsibility. It is one of the instruments through which societies define their problems, debate their options, clarify priorities, and organize actions for common good. In governance, the quality of policy thinking often shapes the quality of policy outcomes. A poorly defined problem will usually produce a weak intervention. A policy proposal that does not understand context, institution, fiscal realities, implementation capacities, and citizen experience may be impressive in form but very limited in impact. This is why initiatives such as this Policy Writing Fellowship is very crucial for us as a country. They help to cultivate the discipline of evidence, the habit of rigorous analysis, and the capacity to translate complex public problems into clear, practical policy arguments. Nigeria, as we all know, does not suffer from a shortage of ideas across sectors. We have plans, strategies, committees, reports, white papers, and reform proposals. The more difficult task has always been to convert ideas into priorities into institutions that implement, and implementation into measurable improvements in the lives of citizens. This is the central challenge of governance. It's also the central opportunity where public policy scholars like yourselves, practitioners, civic actors, and public officials need to play a critical role. One idea from the democratic theory that is useful for our reflection today is John Dewey, the American philosopher and educationist, that described democracy not simply as a form of government, but as a mode of associated living. In other words, democracy is not exhausted by election-produced procedures or institutions. It is sustained by participations, communication, shared responsibility, and continued engagement of citizens in the affairs that shape their lives. This idea is especially relevant to public policy and governance. A democracy becomes strong when citizens have access to information, where institutions are responsive, when public choices are explained, and where government performances can be examined against verifiable evidence. Therefore, evidence-based policy is not only about improving administrative efficiency, it is about strengthening democratic life. It allows citizens to move from speculation to informed engagement. It allows public officials to move from assumptions to measurable priorities. It also allows researchers and civic actors to move from general criticism to constructive accountability. The reason for today's gathering, the closer ceremony of the Policy Writing Fellowships and unveiling of these two laudable portals, sits within the broader democratic purpose. Local governance accountability portal and policy registers are not merely digital platforms. They are instruments for deepening the relationship between information, participation, and accountability. The present moment in Nigeria demands disciplined policy thinking and coordinated implementation. Government is undertaking significant reforms across the economy, public finance, revenue mobilization, social investments, education, infrastructure, agriculture, security, and public service delivery. These reforms are being pursued in the context of heightened citizens' expectations, fiscal constraints, institutional complexity, and urgent developmental needs. This policy coordination is not just desirable, it is essential. A policy coordination framework which my office has developed is known as the National Policy Coordination Framework, has been developed to strengthen coherence, tracks and holds government accountable across the tiers of government. This effort was led by my office in collaboration with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, with the contribution from the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, a National Nigeria Economic Summit Group, and of course from FCDO PACE, who have been very supportive to us. The objective of that framework is to support a more disciplined approach to the implementation of government policies. It seeks to ensure that policies, programs, and deliverables are better aligned with national objectives. And it also provides clarity on the modality of the ecosystem of policy making. This is important because one of the recurring challenges in public administration is not always the absence of policy, but the fragmentation of policy efforts. Too often, government institutions work in silos. We develop programs that overlap, mandates are misunderstood, reporting lines are unclear and blurred, implementation is delayed by weak coordination rather than lack of intention. It is therefore important to emphasize that the National Policy Coordination Framework is not an abstract document, but a practical tool designed to institutionalize discipline across the entire policy circle, from problem identification and policy design to implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and feedback. At its core, the framework promotes clarity of priorities, alignment of programs, measurable deliverables, and continued performance tracking through structured reporting mechanism, such as the deliverables that all ministries have, such as the clarity of policy conceptualization and formulation. In this regard, the closeout of this Policy Writing Fellowship aligns strongly with the spirit and intention of that framework. By equipping fellows with the skills to define problems rigorously, analyze options systematically, and communicate policy choices clearly, these programs contribute to building the human capacity required to make the framework effective when in practice. Nigeria is, again, navigating difficult but necessary reforms, as I mentioned earlier. This includes removal of long-standing distortions in public finance, effort to strengthen revenue mobilization. Additionally, there is renewed effort towards social protection and intervention in education, infrastructure, and economic opportunities. These all point to the larger question: how can government build a more sustainable foundation for inclusive development? The answer cannot lie in policy statements alone. It must lie in disciplined implementation, institutional coordination, credible data, transparent communication, and citizen-centered evaluation. Therefore, the unveiling of the Local Government Accountability Portal is particularly important because local government remains central to Nigeria's development outcomes. Federal policies may set national directions, but many of the services that citizens encounter directly on a day-to-day are experienced at the local level. Primary education, primary healthcare, sanitation, market, rural roads, community infrastructure, local administration all affect everyday quality of the citizens of the country. A child who is out of school lives in a community, a primary healthcare center without adequate personnel or medicine allocated in wards. A bad road that prevents access to farms and to for trade exists in specific local governments. A market that lacks basic sanitation, serves real livelihoods, is situated within local governments and wards. For this reason, national development must be understood not only in macroeconomic terms, but also in local governance terms. If service delivery fails at the local level, every citizen experiences governance at a distance is ineffective or absent. The Local Government Accountability Platform can therefore help to make local government more visible for everyone by providing access to information on local government profiles, financial allocations, elected officials, and other relevant data. It can support more informed public engagement. However, transparency is only the beginning. Data must be used, citizens must engage it, journalists must interrogate it, researchers must analyze it, civil society must translate it into advocacy. Public officials must treat it as an opportunity to improve performance and rebuild trust. Accountability should not be understood only for exposure or for criticism. At its best, accountability is a system of learning, correction, and improvement. It helps institutions to identify gaps, respond to citizens, and strengthen the delivery of services by government officials. The unveiling also of the Policy Registry is very timely. One of the persistent weaknesses in policy environment is the fragility of institutional memory. Too often, important documents are difficult to access, past reports are forgotten, lessons from earlier reforms are lost, new actors enter into government without sufficient knowledge of what has been attempted, what has succeeded, and what has failed. This leads to duplication, inconsistency, policy discontinuity. It also weakens the ability of institutions to build on experience. And this is a very integral part of why governance tends to linger, and when administration transit, there is a gap and a lack of clarity on the next steps. A policy register can help to address this by providing a central repository for policy documents that are useful to policymakers, researchers, journalists, students, civil actors, and development partners. Every administration inherits institutions, obligations, reform efforts, and unfinished work. Good policy making must therefore be historically informed. It must ask what has been done, what evidence exists, what lessons should be retained, what assumptions should be challenged, and what should be improved. In commending this initiative, it is also important to emphasize that government is a continuum, is very important, with a wealth of institutional knowledge, experience, and accumulated policy work that should be recognized and leveraged. The Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, as the custodian of policy process in federal government, plays a critical role in maintaining this continuity and ensuring coherence across administrations. I'll therefore encourage Agora Policy to continue to engage closely with the Office of the SGF and other relevant government institutions in developing and updating the policy registry and other relevant platforms. Such collaborations will help ensure accuracy, completeness, and alignment to official records while also strengthening trust and usability. Globally, the most effective think tanks operate not in isolation, but in constructive partnership with government, academia, civil society. By deepening these collaborations and linkage, Agora Policy can further enhance the relevance, credibility, and impact of its work within the Nigerian evolving policy ecosystem. Strong policy systems do not begin from zero each time they learn, adapt, and evolve. To the graduating fellows, your role is important because the public policy space needs writers that can bring clarity into the public debate. Nigeria needs policy writers who can be rigorous without being detached, critical without being cynical, patriotic without being uncritical, practical without being intellectually lazy. We need analysts who understand that evidence matters, but also recognize that policy operates within institutions, within budgets, within the political space, law, culture, and public expectations. We need writers who can simplify complexities without distorting it. We need researchers who can speak to government in a language that is useful and speak to citizens in language that is clear. Responsibility of the policy writer is not only to diagnose problems, it is also to clarify choices, assess trade-offs, identify constraints, and propose feasible pathways for actions. Evidence-based policy writing can help to elevate the quality of our national conversation. As you conclude your Policy Writing Fellowship today, recognize that this milestone marks the beginning of a broader professional journey for yourselves. Beyond the craft of writing lies the equally important task of engaging with institutions, processes, and real-world implementation challenges. I encourage you to build experience across both dimensions and to contribute meaningfully to the policy ecosystem. Share your ideas with relevant institutions, translate your research into actionable policy briefs, engage public officials constructively, write for wider audiences, support civic education, follow implementation, and track the outcomes. Policy writing should not end on the page. It should inform institutions, shape public discourse, and contribute to measurable improvement. As we've unveiled, these two and portals. I encourage Agora Policy to continue strengthening these platforms, keep updating them regularly, and expanding their use among citizens, journalists, researchers, civil organizations, and public institutions. I also encourage all stakeholders present to continue investing in infrastructure of evidence, accountability, and democratic participation. Effective policy depends on reliable information. Strong governance rests on resilient institutions. Meaningful outcomes require disciplined implementation and continuous learning. The future on governance in Nigeria will depend not only on the policies we announce, but on the systems we build, the evidence we use, the values we uphold, and the results we deliver to citizens. To the graduating class, once again, let me charge you with this. Do not write only to read. Let your work clarify choices. It should challenge weak assumptions and strengthen institutions. You should question the norm. You shouldn't just follow through to, this is how it's been done. That's not why you went through this process. Let your work inform citizens and make government more responsive. Approach your craft with courage and discipline, with conviction grounded in evidence, with a deep sense of duty to the people whose lives public policy is ultimately meant to improve. At the end of the day, all the work we do is to improve the lives of citizens, and that is a core of what we need to remind ourselves every day. I once again congratulate the graduating fellows. I would like to commend my brother Waziri Adio and the Agora Policy team for this important work. I would like to thank the MacArthur Foundation for its continued support to the Agora Policy, and I look forward to seeing this platform and the work of the fellowship to contribute meaningfully to Nigerian public policy and the governance space. I thank you for listening. God bless you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you for listening.
Please, a round of applause for her once again. All the women in the room, please, a round of applause for her. You can make it louder. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, I would like to plead with all our dignitaries, all our invited guests, please do not leave just yet. There are some things would really appreciate you help us do. Would like the fellows to take pictures with you all. So we crave your indulgence that you please wait a little longer. But we're almost there, as a matter of fact. So we'll just have in 3 to maximum of 5 minutes, we'll have the following fellows just representing the rest of their counterparts to give a reflection of the projects they worked on. So I'll be calling these individuals. I'll start with the lady, Regina Alachi. She is a program manager, social justice and equity, and she worked on the project aligning Nigeria's regulatory architecture with her nuclear ambition. She's coming to give a reflection of the project she worked on. Please put your hands together for Regina Alachi as she walks up on stage.
Good morning, everyone. I think the room is too cold. Good morning, everyone. Well, I'm a bit nervous. I'm sure everybody can tell. Thank you. So when I got the email that I was selected, I felt, different emotions. On top of the list I was excited. I would be called a policy writer if I was able to complete the fellowship, and that did something for me. So I'd like to say a very big thank you to my mentor present, Mr. Olusegun Adeni. He was one of the few people who encouraged me to, apply myself to different things, and this is one of them. He's someone whose wisdom I've benefited from really well, and I do not take that for granted. I also want to say thank you to Mr. Waziri and the Agora Policy team, as well as the MacArthur Foundation team and everyone present here. So when I was selected for this fellowship, like I had said earlier, I knew I was going to become a better policy writer. I was already working on nuclear, gender justice programming, and a whole lot of other things. But then again, I didn't expect that I would become more intentional with my writing. And what this fellowship did for me was allow me to sit with myself and ask certain questions, just like you had clearly stated. What am I writing for? Who am I writing for? And what do I hope that my writings would achieve at the end of the day? This was something that the fellowship did for me. So it allowed me to introspect. And when I was writing, aligning Nigeria's nuclear architecture with her current nuclear ambition, I went down like a whole lot of rabbit hole. Every 2 minutes, I was coming up with like different ideas. But then again, just like Mr. Waziri had clearly stated earlier, he who holds the data is able to, would I call it manipulate the evidence, or holds the evidence rather? And it was something that this fellowship taught me, learning to research with data and people in mind. So I have become more people-centered. I am better at writing. And I want to say congratulations to all the fellows present. We're very grateful for this opportunity. And on to the best. Thank you so much.
Please, I think this is a good time to give a round of applause to all the speakers. Everyone who has spoken on this podium today. It's not easy. Please, a round of applause again for Regina Alachi. Well done, well done. Also coming up on stage is Dr. Umar, I beg your pardon, no, not Dr. Umar, is Abdullahi Ibrahim, Acting Manager, Programs and MERL. He worked on the project Rewiring Nigeria's Industrial Policy for Employment. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes to give us his reflection.
Thank you so much. Just like my colleague had said, of course I'd feel nervous. There's very powerful people in the room. Firstly, my role at Leap Africa means that I'm responsible to ensure that we put the organization's best foot forward, naturally by extension the nation's best foot forward in addressing the most pressing challenges, more particularly that young people face. I was opportune that a dear colleague and friend had also gone through the fellowship. So I knew without doubt that there was so much to the fellowship. He always spoke about it. He's here in the room, Haruna Godia. Please, a round of applause for him. He always spoke about the fellowship. He learns a lot from it, applying it in our work. I always saw it every day. And faithfully, the application round came up and I did apply. When I got the news that I made it, it was first surreal. I don't dream much, but I actually did dream about that application. I really dream. I maybe dream once in a quarter. It's that rare. For me, it's really important that I went through this process. I do evaluation and research, and it means that almost on a weekly basis, I write. But what comes out of the writing? There should be outcomes, not just outputs. The words, the statistics, the data, something should come out of it. Not only in communicating it, but in getting them to translate into tangible outcomes for the greater good of young people. And don't mind me, I'm a young person, we always have this bias, but for the country at large. One of the key things, or two key things that I learned during the course of this fellowship was political economic analysis and the concept of trade-off as it applies to the nation and the policy decisions that are made. Mr. Waziri will have so many conversations. Sometimes he will call me, talking because he was my mentor. He'll call me, we'll speak for hours, and at least an hour. Anytime we talk, it's at least an hour. I'm taking notes. I'm closing my eyes and opening it and trying to imagine what he's saying because it's just so sound. But faithfully, I made it. I was a bit anxious because when it was announced that he was my mentor, he's on our board at Leap Africa. He's a distinguished board member, a director. So I was saying, hope I'll not fail him. Hope I'll not fail. And sure that we don't know what we're doing, but gratefully he was very patient. He understood also where I was coming from, but he also made me understand certain things that while I'm very passionate about things, we should always face the reality of things. How do we make it work? And for example, my note was on rewiring Nigeria's industrial policy for employment. And in my piece, I highlighted young people, and he had a comment on it. He said, youth. He just smiled. It was very clear that this is biased for young people, but it's not just young people that face unemployment as an issue, and it's not just young people that should benefit from the profits of reforms, profits of policy reviews and deliberations and policy writing. So this is a very, very timely one. I do hope that more and more young people will truly go through this process because it has changed me and my life, and by extension, the lives of those that I'm honored to support in my work every day. Thank you so much. Mr. Waziri, thank you, and thank you to Agora Policy, and thank you to everyone that supports this endeavor. Thank you, everyone.
Once again, a round of applause for him. All right, I would like to have first and foremost these invited guests to come up on stage, and I'll also introduce the fellows to also join them later so that they take a group picture together. Please, once again, put your hands together for Dr. Abdullahi Usman Bello as he comes up on stage. Also, Mr. Wilson Wujarem, please come up on stage, sir. Thank you so much. That's the EFCC commander of the EFCC. And Director of Public Affairs, Mr. Chris Ogbaji, also come up on stage. Thank you so much, Mr. Chris Okeke. All right, I need ushers to please help me move this podium. Mr. Chris Okeke, please come up on stage, sir. Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel Obi Okafor MNI, please come up on stage, Ambassador. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Garuba Dauda, please, we would cherish your presence on stage. Mr. Ifeanyi Onyabo of AICE Technologies. They helped us to do this. Thank you so much. Please, are you in the room, sir? Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Umar Yakubu, please also join up on stage as well. Thank you so much. I would also not leave out Mr. Shego Adeniyi, please. Thank you so much, sir. You have been dodging. This time around, please join up on stage, please. Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Shego Adeniyi. Thank you so much. And of course, Hajia, Hadiza, Bala, Usman, please. Thank you so much, ma'am, as we join up on stage. All right, to all the fellows in the room, those who are here present, please kindly make your way to I'm so sorry. Dr. Kole Shettima, please, apologies. Please, thank you so much, sir. Join up on stage as well. Thank you so much, sir. To all the fellows, all right, please, sirs, ma'am and sirs, please come forward. Please come forward. Thank you so much. Okay, you want to take a picture of them first? All right. Oh, Miss Ijoma Uju, please. Where are you, ma'am? Please. All right. So we have two powerful women in the midst. To all the fellows, kindly come. I don't know if you can make your way here so that it's very easy for you to join up on stage. Just by this side, by my side here, to all the fellows in the room. All right. Miss Ijoma Uju is joining them also. Congratulations to all the fellows. Well done. Thank you so much to all our invited guests and dignitaries. Photographers, are you done? Green light. Are you guys on? All right. Thank you so much. So please, can all the fellows please join them on stage as well? Yes, I'm sure the photographers will find a way around that. Please, all the fellows, let's make it snappy. Congratulations to each and every one of you once again. To bring this event to a close, I'm going to invite on stage the Executive Director, Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity. He is a highly respected expert in counter-fraud, anti-corruption strategy, and public sector accountability. Please put your hands together for Dr. Umar Yakubu as he comes on stage to give us the vote of thanks. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me thank everyone for coming and for time well spent today. It's not a government event, so if I violate protocol, I'm sure nobody will query me. But I will start with Hajia Hadiza Bala Usman. But before I mention or talk about what she said, I'll talk about the new policy fellows. You can see there's a deliberate effort to bring serious people to talk to you. I'm not saying the others that were not invited are not serious. I did not say that. But if you really listen to her, you could see all the solutions of Nigeria were in that 10-minute presentation. So it's now left for us and you that when you're taking over, you implement those things that she has said. So we thank you, Ma, for your time. We know you're a very busy person. It's not easy to come and spend time with a civil society organization because Agora Policy is civil society. We thank you. The next person we thank, we civil society, we don't joke with our donors. And is on, am I lying, sir? So we thank you, Dr. Kole Shettima. To pull Dr. Kole, I'm telling you, it's actually easier to have a meeting with the governor now to get Dr. Kole Shettima to come to your event. So for him to come and sit down is for a reason of importance. Not that he doesn't have time for serious things, but it's because he attaches importance to some issues. That's why it's not every event he goes for. Sorry, I'm exposing you, sir. So if you see me at an event, know that you're an important person. So Oga, you're very important, though. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming, sir. Oga Waziri, well done. Even before you mentored these people, this is the second cohort. One time when we were discussing, I told you you have been mentoring people unknowingly. Why? By your write-ups. You know, when you people write, you'll be writing, but you don't know people are reading and learning from you, and that's the attraction. And of course, that goes to Oga Shegun Adeni. Of course, this Wahala every week when he writes up. You have one mentor here. Where's Umar Tukur? Okay, he didn't come here. You have two guys that once you write, you send me your article to read. I will say, but I've read it already now. You say, so thank you for coming, sir. I know two of you are brothers. To the Center for the Study of Economies of Africa, they gave us this building. Thank you for the building. I don't know whether you paid for it, so that will determine how well I will thank them. So, okay. Did you pay or is it free? So that I will know how to thank them. The building. Don't worry, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. So thank you very much. But it's owned by a very serious person I respect too, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I think this local place where she has done a lot of things for this country. And I even went upstairs to see the ED to really appreciate what she has done for this country. Then the secretariat, without you, wouldn't have been here. And thank you for the work, for the ICT facilities, and for the two Policy Registry and the local governance accountability portal that we just presented. Let me use military language. Before I buy job, my former colleagues, EFCC, thank you. NFIU, or ICPC, which other government? Sorry, sir. Code of Conduct Bureau, he's the most senior government official here. Thank you for your coming, for your time. This is the chairman of Code of Conduct Bureau. He has been here since before 10 o'clock, and his officers were here, and he has been here to show you how serious it is. Please, thank you for staying with us. CDD, Center for Democracy and Development, and all other civil society organizations. Please, if I missed you out, OGP, Open Government Partnership, I'm sorry. Okay, everybody I've mentioned, anybody I've missed out, please, apologies. Last but not the least, the media. They are here. Ogawas can actually be a very shy person. Same with Shogo Adeni. As you see them, they are writing, they are not shy. But they don't like media presence. I don't know why. That's why it's always sending me to do a lot of things. So last but not the least, everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you for this. And we just hope our prayer is that Nigeria gets better. That's what all this is all about. It's an honor about all this event. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for coming. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, and with that, we bring this milestone event to a close. Thank you so much once again, each and every one of you. My name is Gabriel Spector. We're broadcasting with 95.1 Nigeria Info FM Abuja. And to all our invited guests, dignitaries, thank you so much. Ma'am, madams, and sirs, thank you so much. Please do not be in a haste to leave. We'll have to snap pictures with the all invited guests. Thank you so much. God bless you.